So, hello everyone, and welcome to Frequency Soul Collective. Beck McQuilty here. I'm joined this evening by the beautiful Paige Haines, and we are going to be teaching all things about how to incorporate not only the AO scan, but the AO scan SolX products, a combination of that into your business, or how to get started, or what that looks like for you. So, we're going to open that up very shortly. But first and foremost, just some announcements. We do have the new incentive trip available and ready to rock and roll for those of you who are wanting to run for the incentive trip. And it is to Jamaica. And I've never been to Jamaica before. So I am super excited for that. To receive a trip for one, you must have 15 new PCs or QLAs active for at least 3 months of the 10. So the promotion actually doesn't finish until August next year. So you have plenty of time. But the other thing is too, keep in mind, and we're not going to go into the training aspect of it tonight, but when you rank and any of your personally enrolled team members rank, you also get points for that as well. So keeping in mind that we have the new Thrive Tribe momentum that we're really taking off with now, and how easy it's going to be to get people's product paid for. So even if you were to just work on that alone and you enrolled people and helped them get their 3 people, excuse my cat, here comes Rosie. She'll be even more excited that there's steak on the table tonight, not for you though. Then it will be a lot easier for you to actually be able to obtain that incentive trip. So it's very doable. And for those of you who really want to run for it and take someone with you, you will actually need 25 points and you'll be able to take a partner or a friend or whatever with you as well. So that's really cool. I wanted to start off this evening by sharing my screen and sharing with you after the enormous amount of interest we got from Saturday's call, which was so exciting. I want to share with you, and I do have a video on this, but I do apologize. My VA has been off work, being a little bit unwell, so I'm hoping that she will be back tomorrow to be able to share this video. I did share it on the weekend, but for whatever reason it wouldn't load. So I'm definitely not the tech person, so I'm going to leave that to her tomorrow. But just to be able to create a quick cart for you to be able to share the Thrive Tribe bundle. If you can see what's going on in my office right now, or you kind of can, I've got a dog on one side and I've got the cat on the on the other. It's like, oh my gosh, I am guarding my steak with every ounce of effort that I possibly can. So, all right, so you should be able to see my screen there. Okay, so this is just an example of, this is an inactive back office so that you're not seeing any private figures or anything of anybody else. And what we do is we're going to go to tools. So this is down the sidebar of your back office. So you log in, you go to tools, and you can actually see the button here that says Quick Start Cart. So click on that. And again, I do have a recording of this that we will share tomorrow. But we then choose whether you want a retail link, a preferred customer link, or a QLA link. Now, as we will be training in the weeks to come, we will always be putting people in as a quantum living advocate. The reason for that is because for them to be able to get their products paid for, we need to have them being commission qualified. We then choose the country of which they reside. So predominantly for the moment, I will be selling into the Australian market, and it will have your username up here. Again, this is just an inactive account that we have created just to be able to show you as an example. Then we click continue. All right, let it think about it. Okay, now we're going to look for the bundle that we're wanting to promote or to sell to people, or whatever it is that they're looking for. So you can create different bundles. I'm just going to simply create the Thrive Tribe bundle now, which is this one here, the AO Trio with D3K2. So what it says is whether you just want to order it for one time or whether you want to put it on subscription. And we always click subscription. It is still showing 94 points, but I am in talks with corporate that they I'm hoping, and I'm pretty sure, 99% sure they will bump that to 100 to make it a qualifying order, because remember, to be commission qualified, you do need 100 points per month. And so rather than just adding one time or adding subscription, we want to click this button down here that says add to one time and subscription. So what that means is that it will trigger the sale to go through immediately when they go to the shopping cart, but then it will also put them on subscription as well. It's also important to know and to remind your people that if they need to stop their subscription for any reason, or if they're going away and they need to pull an order forward to take their products on vacation with them, all that they need to do is either log into a back office and manage their orders through here, or they can very easily email head office. It will never be a problem. So once you've done that, click on the shopping cart, click on continue. Then you get to name the pack. So you can see here who the distributor is, the country of which we're selling into, the language, and then the label. So we're going to type in here the Thrive Tribe, oops, can't spell, bundle. You can make notes in there if you like. I don't really need to make any notes. You can see that it's here as a subscription and the one-time order. And then I'm going to click on the button that says generate link. So I generate link, I can generate a QR code. You can send them a QR code. I usually just click the link button here, and then you can go to create another link, or that is simply it. You can then go and share. So if I go into the chat now and I paste that, that's going to send you, please feel free to shop here anytime. No, I'm just joking. But there you go. There's the link that you need to send people. So what will happen is when they actually open that, it will open it up to the website, and then you just need to direct them directly to the shopping cart. So here's the website. It's loading. We go to the shopping cart. Once it's loaded, you can see it's already there. Then all that they need to do is check out. So just make, oh, I accidentally did that as a preferred customer. Okay. I meant to do that as a QLA. So we would then click that over to be a QLA, which is what I was meant to do. And it's that simple. So you can do that with as many products as you like. You can create different ones. What I would recommend that when you have done that is that you actually copy that link, put it into the notes section of your phone, just name it Solex Shop Links, and you can put the Thrive Tribe bundle. There's the shop link. You might want to create another one that says Thrive Tribe bundle with sleep, Thrive Tribe bundle with energy strips, Thrive Tribe bundle with AO relief for somebody who might be in pain, whatever that looks like. Okay. So keeping in mind that their first order is going to be that $146.78 US plus the $49 membership fee, and their $15 shipping. Okay. If you choose to put collagen in there, please note that it will bump the shipping over the weight, which is why we don't have it in there automatically. So the shipping most likely, I would say, will trigger it to go over to a $30 shipping, okay? And it just purely goes on weight. So, and then they just scroll through and place order. They'll have to put all of their details in here, name, account info, etc. And so for me personally, I actually don't generally send people links. Anybody who shops with me, I will normally get their details and I will actually process it for them. The reason that I do that is, one, it's good customer service, but two, you can be assured that the order is done and you have control over it. Rather than sending somebody a link, oh, how did you go? Oh, I haven't done it yet. I've been busy. The next day, how did you go? Oh, I've got the rates bill I wasn't expecting and now I'm going to have to wait, blah, blah, blah. If you do it, it's done straight away. You can send them the confirmation. I send people their username and password, tell them that they can change it if they would like to. Super, super easy. And that's it. So there you go. So I'll just check the chat and see if there is any questions in here so far. Oh yeah, we're all going to Jamaica. Don't worry. You wait till we see this new business plan that we're rolling out. Like, yeah. Those links don't have an expiry, by the way. So no, that's super easy. Yeah, I do find it's much easier to do it ourselves. So yeah. So let's open it up for, I'm just going to let someone else in. Let's open it up for Q&A with from a business perspective. And let's, between Paige and myself, we will be able to share with you some ideas. Maybe Paige, I might, if you don't mind, just get you to maybe just tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your business and how you incorporate it into your business, and then I might share the same. It might give people some ideas. And then by all means, please let us know what it is that you're thinking of doing or questions you might have about how you might be able to incorporate it as well.
Yeah, awesome. So I am a kinesiologist, amongst other things. But yeah, so when it was introduced, when AO scan was introduced to me, I kind of was mainly doing kinesiology, and I was also working with so teaching as well. So a lot of my students were interested in it, which was fabulous. And then from a practitioner perspective, I just started really incorporating the inner voice, because from a kinesiology perspective, having that inner voice as almost like it's almost like a confirmation of all of the emotions that we work with in a session. And then it also gives them home support to go home with. So that was a big thing for me. I have clients who message me who haven't been to see me for ages, and then they're like, I'm still listening to my tunes. I'm like, you kind of need to update them often. So I literally, when it changed recently, when they made the changes to inner voice, I had people coming out of the woodwork going, my tunes have changed. I'm like, yeah, but you haven't been to see me in months. You need some new one, love. So anyway, I actually, for all of them, I sent new ones and I said, you need to be updating these a bit more often, but whatever. So I do also charge for that. I have a special rate for my clients, so it's different to just a one-off with people. I don't charge them, but I do for their initial ones where they come for a session with me, but I build it into my pricing. So I also offer bioresonance therapy on its own, and I also, so with that, I'll run a series of scans for someone, and then I'll do online with them, and then if I have a client who I think has, there's something that I want to investigate, I will run, either a vitals or a comprehensive or whatever, and then I'll use that to muscle test and work out all the things. And I will also include Cephis for them for the next, like for the following 3 days after their session to help support them, which is all built into the cost that I charge. So that's sort of some of the ways that I work with it. From a practitioner perspective, but there are so many different ways, and it really depends on what you're comfortable with. I was doing a lot more, running scans and analyzing them and that for people, but I honestly, it's not my passion. So I stopped, so I don't do too many of those these days. If I do them, I make sure I have a summary going into the sessions, and I've got a multiple, scans so I can see the patterns and things like that, which ChatGPT's made a lot easier these days to, find out all that information. So yeah, that's sort of where I sit with it. Beck, have you finished scoffing your dinner?
No, it's going to take me a while, but it's all good. Oh my
Well, you keep eating, and we'll just see if anyone wants to. And when you're ready, you can jump in. So you keep eating,
that's
and then
fine.
if anyone's got any their business that they want to talk through, we can do that, and then then you can share how you work with it if you want.
Yeah, that's fine. Can you share though, like when you're talking about when you charge for inner voice, how much do you charge for that?
So I charge $59 for people who are just getting an inner voice for the first time as a one-off, and I've charged $39 to my repeat customers, to my client base. Yeah,
Perfect.
so that they've already had one and they want to come back and have more, then they get $39. Yeah, and I let them know that it's for a week. So,
Okay.
even though I have people still listening to it months out, and they're like, "Oh, I don't like them anymore. Something's changed about them." I'm like, "Yeah, you've changed.
Yeah,
Like your emotional state has changed. You need new tunes."
for
So yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
So who
Okay.
wants to is there anyone who wants to put their hand up and would have like to tell us like what we'd like to know, I guess, is what your business is at the moment, what you're already doing, I suppose, and yeah, and then we can just kind of go from there.
Bronnie has a bit of a question here. Can you share how you have a client summary prepared before the session?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's coming back to ChatGPT. So I will run a few scans before I have the client come. Um, and that will either be just vitals if I don't have their voice. But if I'm able to get a voice scan for like say 3 days, in the lead up to, or maybe even 4 days, if I know that they're coming for just the AO scan. So I will do that, and then I'll ask ChatGPT to give me a summary of what's going on. So I did one actually literally today for my son, not that he's a paying client, which I could probably share with you because it's my son, and I'm sure he would give me permission. He's not that precious. Let me see. Don't look at how many million tabs I have open. Here we go. Report analysis request. So I uploaded 4 lots for him because his hair's been falling out. So I knew that it was potentially adrenal thyroid because I've had that before. We have MTHFR, so liver. So I fed all of this. I didn't say any of this to ChatGPT, and it's never analyzed my son before. So it came back, and I said, I got a bit shitty with it actually, because I said it kept asking me if I wanted it this way and that way, and I'm like, can you just do what you usually do, and can you stop with the questions? I literally said that to it. But anyway, so summary overview. This is what it came back with. I don't know why I just said he. So there was some emotional stuff, but liver and small intestine detoxification, thyroid and adrenal regulation, nervous system recalibration, lymphatics. Now that's all MTHFR and adrenal thyroids, which I kind of suspected, but I just wanted that backup. But that was really cool that came through. And then I've got some emotional stuff I can work with him, and it's broken it down even more in here. I can look at some of the foods that's come up as well, and some of the deficiencies. So trace minerals is probably something that we need to work on with him. I'd already started him on some thyroid support, and also he wasn't consistently taking his methylated Bs and things. So yeah, that's what it's given me, a bit of an overview. I had an incredible, I've been working with a client, and it's just taken everything to the next level with him. We kind of do a combination of the scans. He has the AO scan, so he sends me his reports in advance for 10 days, so it's quite intense. But we do all of this, and it just takes everything to the next level. So yeah, that's been kind of cool. That's a bit of a unique situation though, because he has he has the AO scan and is able to forward that on to me. But yeah, it's been incredible, the stuff, the level, the depth we've been able to get to with him in our sessions because of it. So is anyone okay, Angela was saying she would love to, but she's also scoffing dinner down at the moment. Anybody else want their businesses kind of looked at through the lens? Bronnie, you've unmuted.
I unmuted, but just to ask a question to what you were speaking to. So if your son was a client, or your client that has the AO scan, would you then go through the process as with the kinesiology, with the meta-modeling questions?
Yep,
So still go through the normal process, but you've got a bit of a heads up.
Yeah, it depends on, like, I've seen him quite a few times, but yes, I would take him through that process to see what he wanted to focus on in the balance, but then we would refer to that report to understand, where, well, in kinesiology terms, it's kind of set up stuff, right? So I could put on the adrenals and the thyroid, and I could, so I know they're the body systems that we're working with, potentially the liver and whatever else came up for him then. Yeah, so it just gives a lot of context. But if people are just coming to me for AO scan, then I will you know, I've already got a summary sitting there. You know, and we just talk through it. I'd still ask them all the intake questions and see what's going on for them. And then I'd say, well, this is what's come out of your reports. And it's so much better than trying to go line by line, because everybody just glazes over by the time you get halfway through the vitals report, you know, like it's too much. So
It
I
is
just
tricky
feel, yeah. So I feel
to
like
find the course of
for
the course.
me,
Yeah.
this is a much easier way. And look, I know that ChatGPT lies, but like I said, I already had an idea going in with Elijah, what was going on. And sometimes I'll ask my clients questions about what their issues are before we start. I do not say anything to ChatGPT about that, because it will lead you in that direction if you say anything. So I'm very careful not to say anything. And I say, this is a new client, blah, 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 so that doesn't try to draw information from any other clients that I've had. So generally I'll have a bit of an idea, and if it's completely, you know, not there, then I'll go digging and just make sure what it's saying is what is true, kind of thing. So yeah. No worries. Cool. Anyone else?
So I was just wondering about with your kinesiology, when you have a client that comes, do you give them the inner voice music first? Is that first thing that you would do before you do
I
sessions,
scan them
or-
for an inner voice first thing. So I will set them up in the AO scan, and then if they're not already in there, and I will do, yes, I'll get them to speak into it. And that's kind of processing while I'm doing all the other bits and pieces that I do, so that they're not sitting there waiting for that. I mean, it's quite quick,
Yeah.
the inner voice, but if I'm going to do an easy scan for them, then I'll set that up at that point as well. And yeah. And then once they're on the table, I will put their tunes on.
and then do your kinesiology?
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, and I use the headset. It's not ideal, obviously, the bone conducting headset, because then they can still hear me, because the other ones, you know, yeah. So that's how I do it. And that way then they're receiving those tunes, they're understanding what that feels like, you know, and I'm showing them how to press play on it. You know, it's so much simpler now, right, with the new tunes, just to press play. So there's a lot less tutorial that you need to give, I feel, you know, these days. So that's good.
That's so true. Absolutely.
And see with your mat that you've got, do you do the same with that? Like, do you get your clients and they lie on the mat and they listen to the tunes for like 20 minutes or something like that? And
mine lay on the mat the whole session, because I'm not going to get them back up off the mat, and my mat just stays underneath now. Yeah. The only caveat is if like, I won't turn it on, obviously, if they've got any contraindications. So I've got a list that I go through with them. I've already asked them their history anyway, but I'll just quickly say, hey, just making sure you haven't got any of these things going on, because as Madonna said in our group, you know, in our chat, it can throw people into a bit of a healing crisis.
a disclaimer before.
Yeah, so I just don't turn it on if I suspect someone's, you know, too sensitive to it. Yeah.
And see if you had a client, if I came to you and I was just going to get an inner voice scan and have a shot on your mat, and like, what would you charge for that, and how long would you keep that session? Would you run that session for roughly?
Look, I've never done it that way, but I don't know, Beck, what's your thoughts on just the mat? I think Amanda Addy actually does
together, you know.
Yeah,
I've done it before.
Together of how I'm going to roll with it. So
yeah, absolutely. Have you, Beck, what's your pricing on that? You've done that?
I do it for 45 minutes and I charge $89. So, but the thing is too, you have to really think about what do you want to create. So for me, as much as when I got the mat, that was my idea. I put it out to clients, but I have regular clients that come to me, but I actually don't want new people who I don't know coming to me. So I'm more than happy to do sessions online. I have regular client base that come to me in person, which I absolutely love. And that's kind of the rest I would really prefer to build online. So even my mum said to me, she's like, oh, this will be great. You can have people come and do the mat and the inner voice and all of that. And I'm like, because she was like, oh, put it on like your community page. And I'm like, I actually don't want to do that, because I don't actually want people that I don't know. Like, I've got a girl at the gym at the moment. She's going through a bit of a hard time. And I said to her, come and I'll do a session, because I know her, but I'm a bit funny about having people, particularly at the moment where I'm still recovering from like a bit of PTSD stuff.
having people that I don't know in my space. So
Yeah.
I think be really mindful that when you're creating something, what you're actually creating. For me, I would prefer to just build residual income online. That, you know, Nancy and I have had this conversation too. Like, I was saying to Nancy, I'm sure she won't mind me sharing this story. No, I thought, hang on, let me scroll across and see if, and, you know, I said to her, oh, next year you need to come to DOD, you know, like in the States. And her comment to me was, oh, of course I would love to, but 2 weeks off work for me means I'm actually not earning income. And I said to her, to be honest with you, that's a problem. Like, you know, we need to, try to get your business to a point where you're actually earning residual income, whether you're there or not. I said, because I can go away for a month and the chances are my income's going to increase while I'm gone. And I'm not working anywhere near as much, particularly not hands-on, as to what I normally would be. And that's where really the Thrive Tribe has kind of really come to a point where there are people out there in this industry who do not see people in person at all. They will do Zooms and things like that, but for the most part, it's just repeat orders and you getting paid. And in my previous company, like, you have to remember too, I look back on it now and I'm like, oh my gosh, actually blows my mind. But our commissions at my previous company were between 2 and 9%. So when I sold a product, my commission was on average, but most likely at the most, $5. Here at Solex, our average commission, whether it's a subscription or the Thrive Tribe bundle, is about $50 US. So imagine having 10, 20, 30, 40, and that's just frontline, not including how the actual business actually works. The opportunity to grow residual income here is phenomenal. So
it's good also to always tell your clients that they can have it for themselves, you know, and also suss out what they do and you know, and who else they're supporting in their lives as well from an AO scan perspective, because, you know, I always speak to the fact that I use it on my kids and my dog and you know. So yeah, that's what I tend to do as well, with clients. So
that being said though, Paige, I also do have people who will randomly message me and be like, hey, I'm unwell, or I'm this, or I'm that. How much is it for you just to run a scan for me? Yeah. And I'm like, easy peasy, you know?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And I charge $130 for that. Without a reading. I don't read it for them. I just send them, I just say that I've run, you know, I send them their scan results, but they've had a reading with me usually. So they know how to kind of look at it. They may not know how to interpret it. And often I'll have a scroll through and say, hey, I can see this picking up this and that. But also I run last week, I don't know, did anyone else have like freaking crazy week last night with sleep and energies all over the place? And
my scans were all out.
Oh my God, it was insane. So I had a client contact me and she was meant to bring someone out for a session, one of her friends, and she said, she can't even get out of bed. And she said, but I need the frequencies too. She said, and so instead of that, can you just run 2 lots of Cephi, like run Cephis for each of us for the week? So I've been doing that, and I've literally been running energy for them both, and, you know, specifics list. But yeah, so I charge $100 each for the Cephis for the week, you know. So and they'll come when she can get out of bed. She got a lot, you know, she did feel the improvement with it. Actually, funny story on that. Today I just intuitively picked Find Peace, which is one of the Cephi for my friend, and which is one of the preloaded Cephis. And I said to her, oh, I've been running energy for you. I said, except for today. And I ran Find Peace. And she went, oh my gosh, I wondered why I was feeling so, you know, peaceful today. And she said, I can't send people love and light unless I'm feeling, you know, good. And she said, and today was the first time that I've been able to actually send people love and light. And she said, so thank you. I felt that one today. And I was like, great.
That's cool.
So yeah, it was very cool. Actually, it was beautiful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes. All right. So anyone else? Don't be shy.
I'm only new, but yeah, I guess I'll take any tips on board that you've got, if that's all right. I don't have any qualifications as such, but my partner's a horse chiro. So we're going to incorporate it into that. But
Fabulous.
yeah, so anything I can do but to get myself out online more, I'm trying to, like I did a post yesterday, had a couple of comments on that, but obviously I've got to get more confidence around everything as well.
Don't worry about the confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, what made you join?
Just the health side of it. Yeah. And for
Okay.
me to lose weight,
Okay.
which I'm working
And
on.
so you're working with the AO scan, or are you working with the
Yeah.
products? Yeah, perfect.
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both.
Okay, excellent. All right. So just start there.
Yeah.
So because if that's what's attracted you, then that's going to attract other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
just start speaking to your experience with it. You know, I'm really new to this, but I'm loving it, you know, and this is what I've found so far. And, you
Yeah.
know, I really think that emotional connection with how we're holding on to weight, and, you know, the emotional connection for health in general. So the inner voice is brilliant, and inner voice
Yeah.
is such a beautiful way to start. When I started, I offered free inner voice. I still do, actually. If someone's interested, I will do a free inner voice. I will not do any of the other scans free,
Yeah.
because it just turns into a massive thing, and it drains me energetically. I don't like it. So I will do an inner voice, and I'll tell them what else is available. And if I want to show them, I'll go back into my profile and I'll show them a vitals, just skip through it real quick. And, you know, but I'm like, that's available, you know, it's here. If you want it, it's here, you know. But so that's what I would suggest. Horse chiro, that's very cool. So will he be using it in the business, but like to
It'd probably be me, I guess, when I'm with him.
yeah, cool. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
And then
Well,
remotely as well.
yeah, 100%. So then start speaking to that as well. If your client, like if your people are horse people, just say it, you know, when you find something that's out of, you know, like in the comprehensive, I would imagine you'll be looking at that a lot. You know, say, oh, how cool is this? This was found out in the AO scan, and we assessed the horse, and that's what it was, you know, like that type of, because that's incredible. And now that, and because you've got the comprehensive in there as well.
Yeah.
But Cephis are brilliant for horses as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So I really think there's a massive market for. So I was riding today, actually, because I now have a free lease horse. I rode twice today, but I was talking to one of my friends, and she said this person was trying 3 hours to get this horse into a bloody float. And I'm like, oh my God, you know, there's so much we could do from a frequency perspective to support that. I mean, obviously I was thinking kinesiology as well, but I'm like, oh wow, like there's so much support you can give for that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
Cool.
you could even take his business in that direction, you know.
He's actually does float training. So yeah, but he could incorporate it in. Absolutely.
Well, you could literally run that finding peace, you know, program, or you know, an anxiety program or something while you're doing that to calm them down. I had a friend once who was sorry, go. You go.
Oh no, you go, sorry.
I was just going to say I had a friend once who was beekeeping, and she would use the frequencies to calm the bees down before they. Yeah.
Okay, well that's what I was wondering with the wand. That was going to be my question. How does that so you could incorporate, and you know how it doesn't go up above the 600, the frequency, not the frequency, the infrared. You know how the back pad and the pad for pets does, but the illuminator doesn't and the wand doesn't. So at the moment we've had this red light that he's been using. So could you use the wand as more of a calming and to energize the water? Is that what people mainly, do you know, with horses, what they use the wand for?
Horses, yeah. I'm not an expert on that because I haven't used them much with the horses as yet. Beck, have you had much experience?
Yeah, so we would utilize the wand usually for pain points. And you could always definitely wand their water and imprint frequencies into it as well, as same as cats, dogs, any animal really.
Okay.
There was something I was going to say about horses. Oh, I was at a girlfriend's house one day ages ago, and I was kind of just playing with the technology with the horses while I was there. And she's like, yeah, go for gold. And one of her horses, as I was there, the acupuncturist showed up, And I said to her, do you mind if I work alongside you and tell you what I'm finding as you go? She's like, absolutely. So we kind of worked together. So this is how you and Nick could kind of be working together and how cool would it be to have a video set up where you're going, okay, well, I've scanned the body. This is what I found. And then Nick goes through and, finds from a chiro perspective, yep, absolutely. And then, you get a testimonial from the client as like you could do it as a reel, and then the testimonial from the client afterwards. Or, I've seen obviously videos of Nick with horses where they were not great before, then he's worked with them, they're amazing after. Like those sorts of things, people seeing those before and afters, and people actually sharing their experiences are massive. But the other thing is too, like you've got to remember the inner voice, playing that out loud. That's so beneficial for all animals, horses included. So you could be doing that while he's doing the chiro treatment on them, and then explaining this music is actually specifically designed for this horse to balance its emotions out. Imagine Nick going, hey, your first one's free, but if you want this with your chiro treatment, it's only an extra whatever it is, so that you're really enhancing that experience for the horse and its owner as well.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
There's also Cephi dots as well, which you can put on, it doesn't work great sticking it directly on the horses, just going to say. Doesn't stay on very long, but you can put it onto, their saddles or on their bridles and things like that as well. So, and you could imprint a heap of them with peace and calm or whatever it is at the horse as well, so that when they're trying to do that training or trying to get into the float or whatever, they can have that on them. And that was just something else that came to mind.
Yeah, and I think too, from a product perspective on your own journey, just sharing what it is that you're doing every day. Like for me, I did a video this morning, which I haven't shared yet, but it's about how I break my fast. And I break my fast with AO Gut, and I do that because I'm loading my body with nutrition, it's an alkaline product, and just educating people as you go, because not everybody, as you know, will comment necessarily at the same, like all at once or at the beginning, but people will watch your journey. Like for me, now I've released, 5 kilos. I've probably got another 6 kilos to go before I hit my goal weight, and people will start to watch that now. But you do have to also be mindful that when you do put those things on social media, that you are then available. Like I haven't put my before and progress photo up publicly yet, because I know the traction that will get. Like we're still following traction from Saturday's call. We've done the work, we've invited them along, we're still, now we've got the recording, we're sharing that. And like one of the girls that I shared that with, and she was on the call on Saturday, messages me today and goes, hey, have you heard of this brand? And I'm like, yep. And well, I hadn't, but I Googled it. And I'm like, oh yeah, they have PEMF products, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, can you tell me, I've got someone who's actually looking at joining that company. And I told them to wait because she'd been on the call on Saturday. Now, that wasn't even about the frequency side of things, but she knew because of what I've told her and what I've shared over time and what she sees on social media, that's what SoulX have as well. So it's just having these conversations with people, and it just starts to spread like that. The other thing I was going to say is for those of you who are like practitioners or seeing people in person, is to actually have a flyer. We've had a couple designed. I actually wasn't quite happy with them, so I'm just getting them rejigged at the minute, that are sort of peak interest flyers as well that you can print out, A4 laminate, that will say, hey, are you feeling, sluggish, lack of sleep, hormones imbalance, this, this, and this, that actually can just start a conversation where you can then lead them into whether it be frequency or product. Either way, they're going to get educated on both. If they come in on frequency, you're going to get educated on product. If you come in on product, you're automatically going to get educated on frequency, and not everybody understands frequency. Not everybody likes to take products. But let me tell you, from someone who used to have Crohn's disease and sat in front of a specialist where I was told face to face, you have an incurable disease. You will never, ever get rid of this.
and taking pharmaceutical drug after pharmaceutical drug. Many of you have heard the story, but I remember I was like in my mid-20s. I went into the doctor's office because I was on, immune suppressant medication for my Crohn's disease, autoimmune. And I had every itis on the planet. I had laryngitis, bronchitis, tonsillitis, and conjunctivitis in my eye. Could you imagine what I looked like? Like, seriously. And sure enough, I went out of that office that day with a bunch of prescriptions. And I thought, there has to be a better way. Do you know how many people are out there that are just looking for a solution, who feel crappy about themselves, whether it be their energy, whether it be their weight? And like Paige said before, the first thing you have to do with weight is change your mindset and shift your emotions. And we do that, like with the Thrive Tribe bundle. People might buy product, awesome, but they're going to get the inner voice. They're going to get mind sync. We're going to be sharing with them that taste of frequency. The truth of it is, when I first started with SoulX, I knew nothing about frequency. I knew how to look it up on YouTube and listen to, the frequency of love or something. That was about my experience. I just learned as I went. And I think, Paige, you made a really good point before, was don't wait to know everything. Like, even for you, Fee, like, I would put it out on Facebook and be like, hey, I've got this phenomenal new incredible tool to help horses. Do you have a horse with an issue at the moment? I need 5 people to play around with this.
100%. At last DOD, not the one that's just gone, but I was in a room with Rita Dickinson, who is, she's quite high up in the thing. And she said, you know what? I did so much better when I knew nothing.
Yeah.
She said I did, that was where I got all my traction, because I didn't try over explaining things. I just shared what I did know, and that the simpler the better, because I think the more you know, the more you want to tell them everything, and so I think, and it's always your own testimonials that share, that help.
Yeah.
And also I did say, actually, where did I say that? If you have your human design, if anyone has their human design and wants to know about marketing, that side of it, then, and what's best for you, how to present yourself, then just let me know as well. If you're on the call and you want that, because I did say I'd do that somewhere. I don't know where I said that. Anyway.
Awesome.
So just tell me if you have that. Because I think also we all of us are different in the way that we present information and how we're received. And so that depends on you, that's where human design can come into that as well. So just understanding that a little bit as well is pretty good.
Something you were saying about Rita before, Paige, that comes to me, and I don't know the full saying, but I'm sure someone will chime in with what it is. Ignorance on fire is more powerful than knowledge on ice. Is that what it is? Something like that?
Don't know.
Yeah. So what that means is, if you've got fire in your belly and you're excited and you're motivated, and this is what we're doing with the Thrive Tribe at the moment, is we're building that momentum and that excitement for people. People will join you because it's energy, right? Whereas if you feel like you're stagnant, you kind of have to know everything before you get started, all the things, it's like, one of the girls over at DOD was talking, and she's a coach, right? And her friend is a neuroscientist. Like, she's a brain surgeon. Like, you don't get much smarter than this woman. Like, she is phenomenal. And she was petrified to talk to her about the AO scan, but she also knew the power of what it could do for her clients and her patients. And so she showed it to her a couple of years ago, and the woman said, no, not interested, don't have time, thanks anyway. But about, 12 months later, she revisited it with her, and she was just ready. For whatever reason, something had changed and she was ready. Now, fast forward, I don't know how long she's been involved in the company for now, let's say less than 12 months. She is now, she's opened her own wellness center. So she's bought all of the tools through SoulX. She is building a team. She utilizes inner voice and the scanner on all of her patients. Like, talk about a game changer for her business and for her people that she is helping, you know, like how phenomenal. And that girl, like, if she had have just shut her mouth because she was like, I am petrified to talk to someone smarter than me, I actually think sometimes it's good when you don't know the answers, because if you're talking to someone and they know everything about everything, it can kind of be a bit intimidating.
It's a bit off-putting. Yeah.
It is. And the
But
other thing
also
is,
on that as well, if you have someone that's like that, you can go to them and say, hey, I'd love your opinion on this. I'm still learning
absolutely.
it, but I
Yeah,
know that you have a lot of knowledge in this area. These are some things I'm loving about it. You know, would you like to have a look at it? You know, like
Yeah.
that's I love just approaching it in that way. And then you're
Yeah.
looking for their expertise and to see what they think of it, you know? So I think that's
definitely.
good too. Sammy, you said that you would like that about the human design. Do you know your human design?
Yeah, when we went to DoD last year,
Yep.
I did get it from you.
Yep. Let me have a quick look.
Yeah, thank you.
I think you were,
I think I'm a manifesting generator.
yeah, okay.
I think.
So anyone who is a generator, Sammy, I don't know how you're in here. Hang on one second. Sorry, everyone. Okay, anyone, yeah, I'm pretty sure you were a generator, just from memory. Sammy, what do I have put your name under? Sorry.
Samantha, maybe?
Yeah.
Just while you're looking for that page,
Yeah.
we just had a question about the Thrive Tribe. So for anyone who's watching the recording or on the call live, if you're not in the Thrive Tribe, just type in Thrive Tribe on Facebook, and we can add you there, or you can add yourself super easy. But also comment on the Frequency Soul Collective Education Hub and just type in, can you add me to the group, and we'll make sure we add you to the chat as well.
Yeah, Sammy, I'm not finding it for some reason. But anyway, anyone who is a manifesting generator or a generator, which is 70% of the population, you're here to be in response to things. Okay, so what that looks like for me from a marketing perspective is, and particularly, well, manifesting generators in particular, it's about speaking to what's lighting you up. And so when you're excited about something, you're responding to something because we have a sacral energy, and that sacral energy goes or so you keep away from the things that you say to, but it's that whatever, you know, whatever's on fire for you. Now, as a manifesting generator, generally I have a million things that are on fire for me, so and people just need to keep up, but that's okay. It's just the way it is, and that's how people respond to me, because then they're looking at like, oh, what's she doing now, you know? And it's not about jumping around from company to company or anything like that, but it's like, you guys probably experience this with me. I'm always sort of going, oh, and how else can I utilize this, and how else can I bring this in, and what way can I work with this, you know, whether it's bringing human design in and all of the different things, but there's always something that's taking my attention, and I'm like, ooh, this is fun, you know, and that's lighting me up. So speak to that. You know, there'll be a section of you that are projectors, and projectors, you need to wait for the invitation, but you're amazing guides and coaches, and, you know, you're here to guide people. So share your expertise, you know, in a guiding way, not in a I know everything kind of way, but it's like, oh, this is what I found out about this, you know, and so that's how you're best to present. Then we have manifestors, and you're just there to tell people what you're doing. You know, you're not asking for permission, you're not doing anything, but you're initiating, and you're telling people what you're initiating. And then there's reflectors, which won't be very many of you because it's 1% of the population. They have to wait a whole month, poor buggers, to respond to things. And from a marketing perspective, I can't even remember. So if you are a reflector, come and talk to me, because I'll look it up and I'll get back to you about it. But, you know, that's just a really basic thing. And there's a lot of different layers that can go with that as well. But I find when I'm in response to something that is lighting me up, that's when people respond back to me. So I don't put stuff out there unless there's something that I'm excited about, because I get crickets, you know. So that's my strategy with it. Yes, Baron, reflectors are really interesting. I just had a client who's a reflector, and when I told him about being a reflector, it just made so much sense to him. So yeah, they're interesting and they're amazing. But yeah, they're a bit different. I feel for them because it's not an easy life, I don't think. But anyway, so Fiona, just to clarify, for the shopping links, we don't use the preferred customer option. Just wondering if someone is hesitant to pay the $50, make it even cheaper. People get a bit funny about signing up for the $50 subscription coming out. Yeah.
I think you'll find that that's a belief. I've got to be honest. I think that when you have a belief of that, you will attract that. I never have that problem. I just guide people as to, and if someone was to say, oh, I don't want to pay that $50, yeah, that's cool. That's all good. You don't have to pay that now. But if you're wanting to get your products paid for, which is what I can help you with, so rather than paying, you know, $167 or whatever it is per month for the bundle, I'd prefer you to be paying nothing. Like even if you only had one person, it's going to be $117. Wouldn't that make that worth your while that you're getting that return every single month? It's a small investment for potentially a very big return. So $49 US a year, if you had one person just say, hey, what are you doing? Like, I want to do that too. At $50 a month, that's $600 US a year. That's an enormous return on your investment. So wouldn't you agree that's probably the best way to get started?
Handling objections, love it.
Oh, I love it. That's my favorite. that's my jam.
Anyone else want to share anything about their business, or because we're sort of getting close to the time? Angela, you said you did, yeah?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Yep.
So what are you doing at the moment?
So I do shamanic healing and Palawa, and I also have an infrared sauna with all of the bells and whistles that we've talked about.
Yep.
Plus I've got the harmonizing mat, the terahertz wand.
Great. And what are you doing with the tools at the moment, with AO at the moment and the tools?
Oh, yeah, nothing. It's just still for me. Like I literally am still starting up the business.
So initially, I would say do an inner voice for all of your clients and have them listen to that when they're on their table. That would be the basic starting point, and make sure you're educating them on what it is.
Yeah. The only thing is that they're not really complimentary.
What do you mean?
Because I'm already working in their field, I can't have other things coming in.
Okay. For the massage you could though, Palawa, could you not?
It's not massage. It's
sorry.
Yeah, it's similar to Reiki, but it's hands off and it's higher frequency. So Palawa doesn't mix with anything else.
Maybe then if you can't do it in the actual session, then it's home support for them to integrate the session.
Yeah, that's what I was leaning towards.
And then if you're picking up on emotions and things as you're working with them, you can say, yeah, this is confirmation. This was the stuff that was coming up in your session. I don't know whether that's something that you do, but yeah, that would be how I would work. And then in terms of the tools, how do you want to work with them? Like all the other things, the wand and the mat.
Well, you can use the wand and the mat at the same time. I can, people can sit and have the wand while I'm talking with them, or they can lay on the mat while I'm talking with them about different things. So yeah, they can sort of work in with other things. It's just trying to work out how to use the scanning technology and just sort of enhance.
It depends on what you feel comfortable with. If you feel comfortable reading the scans and that's what you want to do, it's not my forte. I don't love it. I will do it, but after 5 years of it, I'm just like, and look, like I said, I am working with it now in a different way, and I do like that. If you're not comfortable with that, you don't want to do that, you know, then just do the inner voice and work with it from that perspective. You can run the scans, but you don't necessarily have to take people through it. If you want to know on a deeper level what's happening with people, then you can run them and then just look at it and say, okay, this is what your scan picked up as well. So just depends. And that can be an online thing that you offer. Then people don't have to be in your space either. So it really comes back to how do you want to work with it and what do you feel comfortable doing?
Just another quick question too, because it was talked about a couple of weeks ago in one of our trainings, was when you do the easy scan that's got the combined inner voice, vitals and comprehensive, is the vitals and comprehensive a full vitals and full comprehensive as if you were to do them?
It's a lighter version is how it's explained. However, it's all there in the reports as well. So it's, you know, it's something you can be doing 3 times a day. Whereas if you're going in and just selecting vitals, you wouldn't want to be doing that more than once a day. And then comprehensive, you don't want to be doing that more than once a week, I think. So you could do a full one, you know, if you wanted to, weekly or something like that. But the easy scan, if you're going to, for me personally, I'm running multiple scans for the people because I want to see that, I want to track their, you know, what's going on, the patterns, because that's how I'm working with it. I don't feel once off. I still do once offs if they're just coming, but if I'm working with them for the AO scan exclusively, I want to see the patterns that are there because that's what they're there to find out about. And I will run easy scans for those. Yeah. Rather than, you know, it's too much to run the full vitals and comprehensive to that. So yeah, I think it's fine to be showing you what's actually going on in the body. Yeah.
And I think too, in putting frequencies into the space of which you're working as well. So that can come back to like the horses, like Sammy can be doing it with her beauty space and probably does. And same with you, Ange, where, you know, it could be you create a list and you say, what do you feel like you need right now? And they could say, oh, you know, it could be peace, calm and tranquility, stress-free or whatever. And you can literally be running frequencies to that space of where you're working and working with that person. So that's an option as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, awesome.
Thank
All right,
you.
everyone.
I have a question. Look, obviously, you know that I'm a vet and I obviously work with animals, but I'm working with people in their houses. And I often feel that animals bring their people to me for something I'm meant to help the people with. So just in the light of this conversation, obviously in my clinical record, I've got the dog's name, date of birth or whatever. But then how do I go about approaching, it's just sort of been something if you're doing scans for them as a one-off to give them something complimentary or to just give a perspective of what it can do from a personal level. You would obviously need the person's date of birth and all those details. So has anyone had a situation where the person is not actually the patient, they're the person of the patient, whether it's animal or child, and people hand that over readily? Is that
well, you kind of need their details to run the pets ones anyway if you're setting them up.
Well, that's what I haven't really done so much because I just
well, you need them anyway. So it shouldn't be a problem. So I've never had an issue with it.
Right.
No, neither have I. I have it depending on the person and how you know, whether I'm just out at a stable and I've got to do something quickly and they're out riding a horse and I'll put it under my profile.
Okay.
But normally, yes, if it's a client, I would normally get their profile, then put their animal in. And it was funny, you know, because Fee and I were on a call with a new QLA the other day, and she's like, you know, something was happening with a couple of her cats and it was this and that. And I said, we need to pull it back to you. The focus has to, because there was so much stress coming in through these animals. And I was like, we need to work with you first.
Yep.
So definitely. And it could be that you say, hey, you know, and explaining that to them. It could be just, let me gift you the inner voice. And if I do, but when you do that, I would always recommend that you get a commitment from them. So it could be, Ali, you know, your cat is, you know, obviously experiencing a lot of stress and it might actually be feeding energetically off you. this is what I can offer you, but if I gift this to you, would you be willing to listen to this for 12 minutes every morning? So just get that commitment from them that they're willing to do it.
Right. Okay. Because very often, definitely in the home situation, it definitely comes up often that, okay, what's going on with the people? And people can be quite reactive about that, or a bit defensive, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
So that just
100%.
highlights even more. Okay, now we're onto it for sure. Let's go further without them feeling like they have to protect their own individual, whatever is going on in their life, but to actually, if it's coming to help the animal, then they're much more ready to go that way. So thank you.
Yeah, and it could too be that, hey, this must be really stressful for you. Like, I totally understand that. What if we were to gift you something to help with, like, calm your nerves and your stress levels, and, you know, your animal, who, you know, whether it's cat, dog, whatever, will probably both, you're feeding off each other. That way you're then feeding off each other positively as opposed to negatively, that they might be a bit more open to that way as well.
So in that case, would you be doing the easy scan for the person and then the pet scan for the pet, or would you just?
I wouldn't. I would just do inner voice.
Oh, okay, right, inner voice, yep.
Yeah. And then if they want to upgrade from that, and you could share with them, hey, we've got the ability, you know, maybe on the next visit, we can do ABC for you. If you would like to do that, then we do have that available.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure. Absolutely.
Because it is so often I just think, wow, I'm there talking to the people, watching the animals. The lameness, that was quite dramatic when I arrived. I haven't even done anything with the animal, and I'm talking to the people, and I can see the lameness has removed and reduced, and then they're barely even limping. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's a conversation I'm having with the lady. How do I tell her that it wasn't actually?
Absolutely.
Yeah, very gently. Yeah. But often you can see that information lands on them. You can see that they have felt a shift, and it's like, oh, okay, right. You just had to trust Judith to tell them that. So thank you. Yeah. Okay. Lovely.
I think so many more people are aware now these days, and, you know, they know their animals, so they know when they're off, you know, and even if you just point out to them, how are you feeling? You know, what's going on with you? Like, just ask a couple of questions. You don't have to even say it's you, but you say, what's going on in your life? You know, does it make any sense? You know, are there any correlations here? You know, because often the homes, they'll go, oh yeah, I'm going through this, this and this. Like, oh, okay. Interesting.
Well, I feel it is very different when you're talking to people in their homes than a 15-minute consult in the veterinary clinic. So a lot more, it is already aligned that way to naturally happen, because I do talk and ask questions just naturally, so it opens it up.
Definitely.
But yeah, thanks very much, lady. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. And look, any testimonials that everybody does get, please share them on our AO Scan and Products Frequency Soul Collective page, because that's what really helps people. Like, it might just be a small shift or whatever the case may be, but you just never know who's looking to for that same experience, or who's been through something like that. So yeah, awesome. All right, well, we're going to stop recording. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. Much appreciated. We'll look forward to seeing you on next Monday night's call, which is, I believe, our hormone call, right? Which is super, super exciting, with Ali and Michelle Lee. I'm super, super excited to be, Michelle Lewis. I forgot the rest of her surname for a second there. Michelle Lewis, beautiful Michelle. So that is going to be an awesome call. So I look forward to seeing you all then. So thank you, everyone. And I'm going